Luke starts a fire in a dumpster. As he makes his escape, he coordinates with Barry. He dons a fireman's uniform and hops onto the back of a fire truck. Once the fire truck passes through a guarded district, he abandons it with a fall that would have hospitalized the average man, much less a 75-year-old man. He removes a manhole and goes underground. Timeout. I was slightly confused by the start. He set the fire in an area, and then he went out and hopped on the back of a fire truck, which I assumed was going to the same location that he set the fire. So where he set the fire was already where he wanted to be. So why did he go through all that? From below, Luke cuts a hole in the ground of a vault. He enters the vault and places miniature bombs on selected boxes. He then waits for Barry to set them off. Luke gets what he came for, diamonds. Luke meets up with the bad guys. He gives them the diamonds in exchange for coordinates. He sends those coordinates to Barry, who then executes a drone strike in that area. The bad guy discovers that the diamonds are fake. Luke is jammed up. They search him and find a cyanide capsule that he was to take in the event that he was captured. They force him to take it, but he informs them that it was an antidote and then sprays some poisonous mist into the room. All that robbing, stealing, and dealing is because Luke and Barry are CIA agents. Then we meet Luke's family. There's his ex-wife Tally, who Luke plans to win back now that he's done his last CIA job. His daughter Emma, who travels abroad helping impoverished nations. Her boyfriend Carter, who Luke is no fan of. There's nothing specific about him. Luke just doesn't think anyone's good enough for his daughter. At his retirement party, we meet Luke's CIA family. There's Alden and Rue, and we've already met Barry. Barry brings up one of Luke's old cases. The target of that case had a young son who has now followed in his dad's footsteps. A CIA agent has gone missing in the same area as that son. The son, Burrow, has assembled a small army and possesses a nuclear briefcase. The CIA wants Luke to take this one last case since he knows the kid and help raise him. But Luke insists that he's retired. But this is a case that he can't say no to. It was commissioned by the White House. Luke is dropped back into action. He's greeted by Burrow, who was the little kid the last time he saw him. Burrow goes on and on about how much Luke made him into the man that he is today. Burrow shows Luke around camp. They make a stop at the fight pit. It turns out that one of the fighters is Emma, Luke's daughter. Burrow makes the introductions. Father and daughter both come to an unspoken realization that they're both CIA undercovers. This leads to the first of 1,000 arguments that the two will have in the first 3 episodes. Barry gets pulled into this mess because he had knowledge of both Emma and Luke being CIA agents. Later that night, at a get-together, Burrow pulls this guy on stage. He puts him on the hot seat about coming up short on money. Right there, Burrow pops the dude. The guitar player had to play La Bamba covered in blood. Luke and Emma hijack some dudes that night and steal their money. By the way, the dude that got shot in the previous scene, Emma had stolen the money that he just took a bullet for. Afterwards, Luke runs over another money guy while yapping about his wife's new boyfriend. This show is a real-life cartoon, and I don't mean that in a good way. The next morning, Burrow's right-hand man raises concern that their reliable money men are missing. He also reports that Luke and Emma were spotted running from the woods last night. A woman yells, and we see the men that Luke and Emma killed the previous night floating in the river. Luke and Emma make a break for it. They encounter this dude, Will, and his family, who are also trying to escape. Luke lets them tag along. Luke calls Barry to send some sort of cellular signal to make the nuclear briefcase shake, move, or rattle. The bad guys think that the briefcase is about to explode, so they abandon it. Luke swoops in and grabs the nuclear briefcase, and they're off. Side note, during this car chase, there's an accident that would have killed 99.99% of normal people, but 75-year-old Luke manages to survive it. I thought I might have been watching The Terminator. Anyway, they get caught. End of episode. Burrow and his goons surround him. Burrow wants answers about who the two of them are and who they're working for. In the event that they hadn't made Burrow evil enough, he grabs Will's daughter and holds her at gunpoint. Luke calls him a coward and then starts talking shit about his dad and how he cried like a bitch when he killed him. Burrow is about to cry, wondering why he's talking about his dad like that. Luke points out that it was just about time for his rescue. Gunshots, gunshots, gunshots. Dead bad guys. But Burrow escapes. Luke is back at the CIA for debriefing. We find out that Emma wasn't compromised on her mission. She turned off communications herself. The CIA still wants her on the case to find Burrow, but they now want Luke to head up the search. Emma is not a fan of working under her dad. Emma then has lunch with Carter. He tells her the one thing that he cannot forgive is lying, which is pretty much Emma's job description. Luke and Emma bicker constantly. I think Luke gets along better with Burrow than his own daughter. The CIA assigns a shrink to help the two of them get along. Because yeah, I'm sure that's what the CIA would do. Burrow has plans to build a new bomb. A closed-down nuclear facility will be transporting its cesium-137 to a new location. They have intel that Burrow will try to commandeer the substance from the train transporting it. The CIA plants their agents on the train. During the train ride, Emma mopes about her relationship with Carter. She's reminded by Alden that the CIA is a horrible occupation for maintaining a lasting relationship. As expected, Burrow's guys try to get the chemicals from the moving train. They get the hose attached and begin to extract the cesium. Luke manages to shoot some of the guys, but he can't shoot down the chopper that's attached. Eventually, they have to speed up the train fast enough for the chopper to voluntarily disconnect. By the way, during all of this action involving dangerous nuclear material, Emma takes the time to take a phone call from her mom about her relationship with Carter. That's what we're watching here, people. End of episode. So they had to speed up the train to rebuff the chopper. Well, now the train is moving too fast. Emma has to go outside of the train to cool down some part of it so that the train will slow down. I did not understand this. What's important is that what kept Emma from flying off the top of the train was that she was connected to Luke inside the train with some sort of super magnet. To me, it seems like if the magnet was that strong, they wouldn't have been able to navigate along the train anyway. But hey, at this point, I've thrown reason out of the window. Afterwards, Alden interrupts a call between Carter and Emma to tell her how well she did. When he leaves, Emma gets a twinkle in her eye. Watch out, Carter. That dude's coming for your woman. Burrow has captured Will. He wants him to tell him everything he knows about Luke and Emma. All Will remembers is that Luke called her Emma and something about playing a violin. Burrow takes this information along with an old photo and gives it to a bunch of nerds in a basement and offers them $1 million to the first one who can find Luke and Emma. Even though Burrow is still out there, the team is celebrating a mission accomplished on Luke's boat. Carter wants kids, but Emma does not. I don't think she's the one, Playboy. Luke invites his wife onto his new boat, right in front of her boyfriend, Dunny, straight up punking that dude. That's not cool, Luke. A scientist has been snatched. He had wrote a thesis on how to create the nuclear bomb that Burrow wants, but with fewer materials. The handler of the scientist, not the scientist, but his handler, is in a dormitory. The CIA planned to break into that dorm and then download data from his hard drive using a mobile app. They have no facial ID on this handler. They just have a name, Nika. The plan is to use Alden to get close to her and then have her invite him to her room. And from there, he will start the app to download the data from her hard drive. But it turns out Nika is not a woman. They have to change plans, and Emma will go undercover instead. Alden talks Emma through playing the honeypot undercover role. Emma gets in good with Nick. Luke is still complaining about Emma going undercover. Half of his dialogue in this show is complaining. Meanwhile, Carter is getting good practice at leaving voicemails for Emma. Burrow gets a delivery. Inside the crate is the kidnapped scientist. Emma gets inside the handler's dorm and starts the app. The app looks like a game, but in the background, it is downloading hard drives within the vicinity. It would have been funny if this dude didn't have his computers turned on. That would have sunk the whole mission. So Emma's putting the moves on dude to distract him, and she drops her phone. He picks it up and opens her notification. The notification contains a photo of her and Carter. She tries to explain, but the dude ain't really buying it. Alden tells Emma, through her earpiece, that she needs to get this dude's attention away from the phone. She goes to the old tried and true method, skin. Well, Luca is watching all of this. And if all those crazy stunts didn't kill the 75-year-old man, this just might. The handler drops the phone and gets ready to get it in. Meanwhile, the app continues to download data. Emma takes the handler into the bedroom. Barry alerts the team that Emma has cut off communication. I guess she put it on old boy because he's knocked out and she's getting dressed. She finds his safe and cracks it. She pulls out his papers, but the dude wasn't out. I guess she didn't put it on him good enough. Now she's about to get shot. End of episode. What did I think of the first 3 episodes? Not great, Bob. Not great. You know, I don't like to shit on people's work because I understand that there was some effort put behind it. But this was bad. You heard that saying, you can take 1,000,000 monkeys on 1,000,000 typewriters and eventually it will produce Shakespeare? Well, this is what happens when the monkeys don't produce Shakespeare. My expectations weren't great, but they were above average because Netflix had a big name behind this. This fell very, very, very short. I can imagine Arnold going over the script every morning and realizing how bad this was. But then he thought, I'm getting paid a whole lot of money for it. Let's go get this money. That has to be what happened here. If I got high, like really, really, really high, I might find some sort of entertainment from this. But since I'm not high, and I don't plan on getting that high, I am out on this.